Hello students. Today we are going to learn about sustainable agriculture or sustainable farming. This is one of the important aspects of agricultural economics. As we all are aware about climate change and global warming conditions on the earth. Because of these climatic changes and warming situation, we have to change our agricultural practices also. Now, how to deal with sustainability? Sustainable development is the development which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This is defined by the United Nations General Assembly in 1987. In easy way, we can say that we should use available resources in efficient manner without wastage so that future generations can use those resources. Otherwise, after some years, resources and other things will be no more on this earth. So it is not development. So development should be sustainable, it should be long lasting, it should be useful for the coming generations. This is the basic thing behind sustainable development because without sustainability there is no meaning to the development. This concept is associated with the environmental protection for future generations. It has been suggested that the term sustainability should be viewed as human need. It is a target goal of human and ecosystem equilibrium. It includes holistic approach. On the background of climate change and global warming, sustainability is expected in every type of economic practices, and that's why economic development through the organized principle and practices of sustainability will lead to the sustainable development goals. As we are talking about different type of practices, students, here I would like to explain that sustainable practices can be functionalized in agriculture as well as in industrial sector as well as in financial sector. Minimum use of electricity, minimum use of paper. These are also important practices related with the finance and industrialization. Same like that, in case of agricultural development, like in most of the traditional farming cases, various practices were sustainable, which were leading to the protection of environment. Now, what is sustainable agriculture? Sustainable agriculture is the practice of farming using principles of ecology and different organisms in the nature. This type of farming activity helps to protect the environment and supports to produce healthy food without compromising future generations' ability to do the same. Sustainable agriculture or farming is the production of food, fiber, or other animal products using farming techniques which protect the environment, public health, human communities, and animal welfare. So, sustainable agriculture considers a holistic approach. Holistic approach, it is related with not only human being, but it is related with each and every part of ecosystem, each and every microorganism in ecosystem, and it is also related with the animal welfare. Sustainable agriculture is the act of farming with the use of principles of ecology. Now, there are different types of principles of ecology that efficient use of soil, it should not be polluted, efficient use of water, water should not be polluted, air should not be polluted. All these things should not be hazardous to birds and different animals on the earth. So, in consideration with all these organisms or a part of ecological system, sustainable agriculture is possible. Now, what are the basic principles of sustainable agriculture? There are three main principles of sustainable agriculture which are associated with the environmental sustainability, economic sustainability, and social sustainability. When we are talking about holistic approach, we have to consider environmental impact also. We have to consider the productivity, profit, and economic sustainability. And finally, we have to consider social aspect also, because sustainable agriculture or agricultural development should not be adversely affected on some part of the society, and that's why social sustainability is also important factor in consideration with the sustainable agriculture. Here, environmental sustainability is related with the protecting, recycling, replacing, and maintaining the natural resources base, such as land, water, and wildlife. Economic sustainability includes improving soil management and crop rotation, which raises yields. Means in a sustainable way we can increase yield, we can increase production. So every time it is not necessary that farmers should use chemical fertilizers, because there are many hazardous effects of chemical fertilizers on soil and on the food grain also. Social sustainability is related with the social justice and cultural cohesion. It means if certain type of variety of crops we are using, for example, it is said that bt cotton, which is harmful for skin, and most of the women who are collecting cotton uh, on the farm are facing different skin problems due to that type of variety. So this is a part of social negative effect on the females or women who are the main workers in the agricultural area. Now, which type of basic objectives should be followed for sustainable farming? First is to satisfy human food and fiber needs, to use non-renewable resources and on-farm resources in efficient ways, to sustain the economic viability of farm operations, and to enhance the quality of life for farmers and society as a whole, to preserve natural resources and healthy environment for future generations. This is important. We can say that in most of the ancient literature, Sanskrit literature of India, it is said that we should use our land in efficient way. We should use our natural resources in efficient ways. It is depicted in Rigveda also that how to use the land and how to worship it. Basically, worshipping is not directly related with the religion, but it is related with the sustainable use of land. What are the benefits of sustainable agriculture? Three important benefits we can explain. First is environmental preservation, second, protection of public health, and third is protection of biodiversity. In case of environmental preservation, we should try to preserve soil quality, water quality, air quality also, because while using different type of fertilizers and pesticides, we are polluting our land also. So that's why environmental preservation is necessary. Otherwise, it will affect on the microorganisms in the soil as well as in the ecosystem. So environmental preservation is one of the benefit of sustainable agriculture, and it is good for human health also. Second is protection of public health. It is important. Here I can give you an example. In case of Punjab and some part of Uttar Pradesh, these are the highly productivity states in India. In case of Punjab, use of pesticides is more than 100%, and it has created cancer problems among the people. So this is one of the negative effect on the health due to the use of chemical fertilizers, chemical pesticides for farming activity. So if you want to protect the health, we have to go with sustainable agriculture. Now, protection of biodiversity. Biodiversity is basically related with the variety of plants, trees, variety of birds and animals. So this type of variations or variety in the living things should be protected because it helps to keep the balance in nature. If we are using certain type of imported type of crop which is not allowing other crops to grow in the farm which are local type of breeds, so it will affect biodiversity. It will affect on the regional or domestic varieties or breeds of different type of plants. So conservation of biodiversity is also one of the important objective of sustainable agriculture. Now, what are the disadvantages of sustainable agriculture? Basic disadvantage we can say that crop yield is less because maximum use of chemical fertilizer uh, leads to the highest production, and that's why majority of farmers uses chemical fertilizers and pesticides also. But sustainable way of agriculture leads to less production, and this is quite difficult for highly populated countries because such type of production is not sufficient for highly populated nation. This is one of the limitation. Second, lower production rate is the matter of concern, so we have to find out the sources of higher production with the help of sustainable practices. Modern farming methods may be much cheaper and create more product, but they are harmful to the environment. Here, I would like to focus on what are the techniques of sustainable farming. First, that is, farmers can minimize the use of pesticides and fertilizers by sustainable farming and can save money. Pest control, disease control, soil erosion control, developing high soil quality is some of the important techniques in agriculture. Integral pest management is an important approach for economic control of pest. So integrated pest management and processes on the growth of healthy crop with least possible disruption of agriculture is also important part of sustainable farming. In this pest control management, natural contents and biological ingredients have been used for example, we can say neem powder can be used as one of the biological ingredient. Use of a variety of pests which destroys other harmful pests for farmers is one of the sustainable practice. Then crop rotation is also important sustainable practice. It gives various nutrients to the soil. For example, cultivation of other food grain after the production of cotton. Now, after the production of cotton, to increase the nitrogen content in the soil, we have to cultivate other type of food grain and not repeatedly cotton. It helps to increase the nitrogen level in the soil. Crop rotation is one of the components of polyculture. It also helps to control pest. Use of biotechnology is the use of living systems and organisms to develop or make useful products. It provides appropriate new tools for specific problems in sustainable agriculture. Use of organic fertilizer is one of the important method. For example, organic fertilizer in sustainable gardens. It helps to create organic manure which is helpful for healthy development of plants and trees. And conservation of tillage is one of the important method of soil cultivation that leaves the previous year's crop residue such as stalks, creates trouble on fields before and after planting the next crop. Conservation tillage management reduces soil erosion. It enhances soil productivity. It increases soil dependency on fossil fuel. It increases nutrients, and this is one of the important technique of sustainable farming. And our ancient farmers were using such type of techniques, and that's why they were able to live healthy life, because whatever we are cultivating and whatever we are using as a chemical fertilizer or chemical pesticide, there are small contents in the food grain also, and when we are consuming such type of food grain, it affects on the human body. So that's why only increasing production is not development. We need sustainable development through sustainable agriculture. Here I would like to share some images which I have collected from internet regarding crop rotation. In the first picture, it shows that two types of crops are cultivated in the farm and which gives maximum production. So crop rotation is also helpful to increase the nutritional content in the soil. Here we can see mixed cropping pattern. Vegetables are cultivated in the farm. Different type of vegetables. It gives maximum production to the farmer, because different type of crops, cultivated crops, also helps to pollination. It attracts variety of birds and insects, which leads to pollination, and it leads to more production. It leads to increase in the production of fruits and vegetables. So that's why mixed cropping is also one of the way of sustainable farming. Here we can say intercropping. A vegetable has been cultivated in the form of wheat. So there are two types of crops we can see. This also leads to maximum production, which is quite efficient and economical for farmers. So these are the different pictures related with the sustainable sowing pattern and cultivation pattern. So finally, we can say that we should keep our wants limited, because resources are also limited. If wants are unlimited, it will be difficult for us to create more and more production. So, the way towards sustainability goes with the limited and efficient use of resources, which can be applicable in farming activity also. So, here I would like to stop for a day. Thank you.